Nation, welcome back to another episode of Spider-Man's Tangled Web Show. I'm Jonathan, webmaster, SpiderManFanrave.com, SpiderManFanrave.com. Go on over there. We got some cool Spider-Man stuff. We focus on celebrating the character. If you want to join the celebration of Spider-Man with us, go on over there. Check out our website. We do reviews. We post random Spider-Man stuff we find on the internet. We post all kinds of stupid things. So if you're in the mood for Spider-Man stupidity, I'd go on over there. All right, tonight I'm being joined by James. What's going on, James?
Not much. Just got done with my finals. Passed two of my finals, my computer class and my culinary one class. The culinary one class, oh my god, the most nerve-wracking thing ever. You literally are like one of those cooking shows where you got to stand there and smile and nod while judges are judging your food. Thank the Lord that they loved my soup and had no complaints with it, because I was scared to death. Especially when my recipe was off and I didn't have enough beef stock in it, and I had to dump more and then guess and then add and then had to guess about adding the other ingredients into it.
Well, congratulations, James. Good to hear about the high marks on the exams.
Yeah.
What have I been up to this week? I also took finals this week. I gotta say, my music theory final was probably the hardest of all of them, just because it was something that it was disproportional to what I was expecting. There was more. For those of you who may not know, there's this thing called species counterpoint in music. There was a lot more of that on the exam than I was expecting, and it was weighted a lot heavier, so it was very nerve-wracking. Luckily, I got my marks back. I got a 94% on that exam, so that was the one I was really worried about, and I got a 94, so I was fine. What else happened to me this week? Well, I read some comics. I went some places. Family's currently in the process of building a house, so got some work done on that. I also started watching the first two episodes of the Daredevil Netflix show. I know I'm extremely far behind everyone else, but it took some convincing for me to start watching it. I gotta say, that is some screwed up shit. That show is. I was advised to watch that show by some friends, mainly James and Jan, who's not here. But oh boy, that show is dark. It's hard to believe that Marvel, who usually make pretty semi-family friendly movies, made that dark shit. But that is some screwed up crap that goes on there. Oh my gosh. But other than that, I haven't really been up to much this week. So I think what we'll do is we'll move on to our main topic of discussion tonight. Amazing Spider-Man Volume 4, Number 4 came out this week. This is only the fourth issue of the new series, and this is one of 3 issues I think that we're getting this month. I think we also have a .1 issue coming out next week, so we'll have some decent topic of discussion for next week's show. Moving into the recap of the issue here, the issue is titled High Priority. We got writer Dan Slott, penciler Giuseppe Camicoli, inker Cam Smith, colorist Marte Garcia, cover artist Alex Ross, lettering VC's Joe Caramagna, assistant editor Devin Lewis, and editor Nick Lowe. Apologies, I'm going to have to get some water. Thank you. I don't know why I just thanked you, because I just gave myself the water. So moving into the recap here, Scorpio of the Zodiac is asking the Gemini, what is written in my stars? Scorpio, proceed with your plan at the decided time, and it will most likely succeed. However, you have a rare opportunity right now. Force your enemy's hand tonight, and one of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s greatest allies will abandon them. Who? Spider-Man. Done. Who am I to argue with such a clear sky? Tell all the houses of the Zodiac everywhere around the world. It's time. So meanwhile, in low Earth orbit, Samuel L. Jackson, Nick Fury, is telling people to look sharp because it's Z-Day. I'm authorizing worldwide strikes on all Zodiac bases now. So he's communicating with all of his S.H.I.E.L.D. teams around the globe. There's teams led by Agent Coulson. There's teams led by the Human Torch, and there's a team led by Spider-Man. But guess what? Spider-Man puts Nick Fury on hold because his Katy Perry ringtone went off, and he's getting an incoming call from his Aunt May. So while Spider-Man and Mockingbird are flying over Madagascar, Peter pulls off his mask and tells his suit, I could use a Steve Jobs turtleneck combo right about now. So his suit actually like takes the form of a Steve Jobs turtleneck combo because evidently Peter can do that.
Well, to be fair, he has had costumes that done that before, John.
Yeah, okay, I'll give you that one. The black suit could have probably done something similar. All right, I'll give you that one, Jim.
Something similar.
All right, but Peter picks up the phone. Hey, pretty lady, what's up? Peter, can you hear me? Volume's fine, Aunt May. Can you hear me, Peter? Volume's fine, Aunt May. I wanted you to know, dear, Jay and I are in the village outside of Nadua with the rest of the team, and today's the big day. That's right, the Parker Industries solar panels are up and running, and they're providing free power for everyone in the entire province. And it's going to change people's lives in incredible ways, and it's all thanks to the Uncle Ben Foundation. Oh, Peter, he'd be so proud of you. He'd be proud of you too, Aunt May, and Jay. All the hard work that you and everyone's been putting into this. I know if he were there, he'd, my God, what is that? Yes, all of a sudden, the war goblins are descending upon the village, and they're dropping a shit ton of pumpkin bombs. And so Peter senses Peter actually sees the destruction over the video call, and he says, the dude is southwest of here, hours away. At full throttle, the webjet can be there in 30 minutes tops. And Mockingbird protests, but Spider-Man says, no, I saw pumpkin bombs. That means one thing. We're going. End of discussion. Then you leave me no choice. I'm taking control of the ship. I am not on board with that. And guess what? Neither are you. Eject! Boom! So Mockingbird is shot out of the jet, but Peter tells her to double-click her belt buckle, and it unleashes a pair of wings for her. They're not as good as Sam Wilson's wings, but they'll get the job done. A special upgrade for Parker Industries' SHIELD liaison. Consider him a parting gift. Parker! Oh, wait, sorry, wrong person. So tell Nick and the others, I have to do this. I'm sorry. So the War Goblins are attacking the Parker Industries employees and Aunt May. Just then, Spider-Man shows up in the webjet and starts to take them head on. But the War Goblins actually knock Spider-Man and the webjet out of the sky completely, and he goes crashing into a nearby hillside. He climbs out of the jet. Okay, lesson learned there. Also, mental note: the web foam airbags. Yeah, they need more testing. Ow. And so, meanwhile, as the shield attack on the Zodiac bases is underway, Nick Fury is thinking, a coordinated strike on enemy bases around the globe, and the web slinger chooses now to go AWOL. I want continuous scans from all SHIELD satellites and regular updates from the field, any visual on Scorpio. And so the various SHIELD teams are taking out Zodiac bases around the globe, but every single one of them is finding the same output. It's fake, all of it. It's just set in props. They're not real bases. We've been duped. What the hell are they playing at? So just at that moment, Spider-Man emerges from the hillside and he meets back up with the Parker Industries employees and the civilians. Your nephew sent me over as soon as he heard. Glad you're all okay. No one's hurt, right? We're all fine. What were they calling themselves? War Goblins? They stopped targeting us. They're only going after the solar farm. All that work we did, everything we were doing for that village, can all be replaced, May. You can't. You're a very smart young man, Spider-Man. What can I say? I was raised right. Get it? Get it? Get it? Metatextual? Get it? Get it? Okay. So just at that moment, a civilian named Issa, I apologize, I might not be pronouncing that right. She says, my children, I don't see them anywhere. So Spider-Man activates his his thermal reading glasses, I guess, in his eye lenses. Yep, they're smack in the middle of no man's land. Everyone stay back. I've got this. No buildings to swing from and no cover. Time to bust out my new superpower. You guys, soldiers or mercs? Because if you're for hire, I'll pay top dollar for you to switch sides. Not joking. I've got my checkbook on me and everything. And so,
Look like his fat credit card! Sorry, that joke was too good to pass up.
So at that point, Mockingbird shows up and tries to assist Spider-Man by distracting the War Goblins while he gets to the children. Hi, don't be scared, okay? I'm one of the good guys. Spider-Man! What do you know? Beloved and world famous. All that PR is paying off. Kawasi and Adoma, right? What are you two doing under here? It's cooler here. Yeah, well, there are better places to find shade. No, the first thing the solar power is used for is to cool down the magnets in the converters. Helps them reach their optimal temperature. Whoa, you're a smart one. She's always asking the Parker people questions and looking things up on their internet. But Spidey, who are these men? And why are they attacking us? Some people don't like it when others have power, whether it's energy from these panels or looking things up online. Well, you should take their power away. See how they like it. If only it were that easy. It is. There are magnets down here, right? Adoma, congratulations. You just became the winner of the first Parker Industries college scholarship. So Spidey manages to get the kids out from under the debris and uses his web shooters and the Z-metal in his suit's bug zappers to supercharge the magnets and cause them to explode and discharge an electric magnetic pulse. Say goodbye to all your power, War Goblins. But it also knocks out the power of Mockingbird's wings. Luckily, Spidey manages to jump and grab her and bring her down to the ground safely. The children manages to get to their parents safely, and Jay and May thank Spider-Man for his services. You know, Spider-Man, we wanted you to know the children are safe with their parents. Also, we know you were probably needed elsewhere. So please tell Peter, we're very grateful he sent you here to look after his silly old aunt. Mrs. Parker Jameson, can I call you May? Please. The way Peter tells it, May, you're not his aunt. You raised him. You're his mom, and I know if he had to, he'd stop the whole world for you. About that, Spider-Man, we have to report into S.H.I.E.L.D., and there will be consequences. I honestly don't give a shit, Mockingbird. Just please fuck off. I'm trying to have a moment here. And Mr. Okiro, on behalf of Parker Industries, I can promise you, we will rebuild those panels and get this whole project up and running again. No. No? You say no to Spider-Man? All you people in your charity did was make us a target. This was not the power my village needed. Those goblins, they work for General I can't even pronounce that name. Moene? If those panels return, so will they. Will you stay here? Will you guard us forever? If not, then you must leave. You Autobots, we don't need you on this oh, sorry, wrong franchise. We don't need you on this planet anymore. Sorry, I'm just reciting the plot of every Transformers movie ever. The scene transitions to that same guy who was just telling off Spider-Man a moment ago in contact with Norman Osborn, and they're talking about, oh, I'm very familiar with that technology. You could say knowing how it works is my business, and business is booming. Haha, get it, get it, get it? So just at that moment at the Andrew Correctional Facility in upstate New York, Dr. Kurt Connors, still trapped in the lizard's body, has visitors. Sniff, sniff. You're not one of my regular visitors. No, but we've met before, Kurt. Do you remember? You're not alone. Those are the scents, those hearts. A trick. It has to be. I warn you, no one toys with the lizard. But you're not a lizard anymore. You're Dr. Kurt Connors, a model prisoner. Even helped save the mayor and a number of innocent civilians a while back. A good man trapped in a monster's body. But I promise not to hold that against you. Sniff, sniff. Tell me how I can smell them. How are they here? This can't be real. Dr. Connors, you have certain abilities that could be of great use to me. If you were to break out of here and join me, I could make anything real. I could give you all you ever wanted. Kurt! Dad! Martha, Billy. Do we have a deal, Dr. Connors? Yes, dear God, yes! To be continued in the next issue. All right, James, we'll go to you. What are you thinking of Amazing Spider-Man Volume 4, Amazing Spider-Man Volume 4, number 4, right here?
Meh. It's a really meh issue to me. It's just not good, not bad, just somewhere in the middle, just really lukewarm. Like, if I had to give it a grade, it'd be like a D+, maybe, at most.
Oh, D+? That's kind of negative. I thought you said it was
lukewarm. Somewhere in there, like a D+ or a C-.
Oh man, well I'll follow up on James's little letter grade system there. I give this issue probably a B+, A-. I enjoyed this issue quite a bit. I read 3 comics this week. I read this Amazing Spider-Man, I read Spider-Gwen number 3, and I read Secret Wars number 8. This was by far my favorite. What the hell? Oh, sorry about that. My screen just completely went away. I really enjoyed this issue. I thought it was really good. I had a lot of fun while reading it. I thought it was really well written by Dan Slott. I thought the artwork was really good. I guess I'm the opposite of James on this one. I thought this was one of the best issues to come out of this new series so far. James, we'll go into a little bit more detail here. What was it that made this issue kind of meh for you?
It just like felt, I don't know how to explain it. It just felt lukewarm. It just felt like, just didn't really grab me as a reader. It's just like I'm just not getting into Peter Parker with this whole trend-setting billionaire playboy kind of thing he's doing. It just doesn't really, it's just not gelling with me, and this issue kind of confirms that, where it's like, oh, Aunt May and them, and it's Africa, and they're being attacked by goblins, and it just felt really weird to me. I don't know what it is. I just couldn't get into it. And the ending, it's like, I should be invested about why all these dead characters are coming back to life, but at the same time, it's like, I don't care. It's really sad for me to say that I don't care about these characters coming back, but it's like, I don't. And there's some parts, it's like, we haven't seen Anna Maria and Johnny and the whole Otto thing since issue 1, and I'm wondering now 4 issues in, when are they ever going to fucking bring that up again? Something that was a cliffhanger at the end of your first issue hasn't been brought up since, really. You have the whole kind of Spider-Man stick of, oh, I'm going to rebuild everything. Nope, we don't want you. Get the hell out of our town. Well, that kind of thing that happens. It's been in Spider-Man forever, kind of, but just globaled up now with the whole Tony Stark Batman kind of thing. And then you had the whole winks, like, oh, I guess you could say, Aunt May, somebody raised me well. Wink. And it's like, no fucking shit. She knew your secret identity before, and there's no goddamn excuse why she shouldn't know it now.
Oh, gee. Okay, are we about to enter another James Markin rant here?
No, it's just the Aunt May thing. It's like, well, I guess you could say somebody raised me well. Tell her the fucking secret.
I mean, it's been proven before that she can handle the knowledge.
70s or more, where you're worried that she's going to have a heart attack as soon as she finds out. You know she can handle it. And right now, you're the freaking Tony Stark with top security. You can freaking protect her. In fact, you protect her even more if she's in on the secret and not having pumpkin bombs being thrown at her and she has no idea why.
Oh, I guess that's part of the issue that James took with this comic.
Yeah, that part's like the only thing I really have emotion with, and that's what I don't like. Everything else was like, yeah, eject button, but there ends up being wings in it, so she doesn't die because I really thought Peter was going to kill her. And then you got the Scorpio thing where I don't give a shit about these damn Zodiacs, and so their master plan and everything I don't care about. The only thing I jumped at is I keep forgetting that they put Carson. I can't say his name right now. Agent I can't say his name. What the fuck? Coulson. Yeah, thank you. I can't remember saying Carson. I don't know why. Agent Coulson. I keep on forgetting that he's actually in the comics now. They pulled a Harley Quinn with him, so I keep on forgetting that. And so when I see Agent Coulson, I'm like, oh, that's a nice reference. And then I remember, oh, wait, no, duh. Did they introduce him the same time they introduced Black 616 Nick Fury?
Yeah, I always make the joke that it's Samuel L. Jackson. But I say that positively because I love Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury. So
Because the sad thing is, with the Marvel Star Wars comics, you can make a case now that Samuel L. Jackson is in 2 comic book series. One is Mace Windu, and the other one is freaking Nick Fury.
Hey, that's pretty badass. I mean, he is Samuel L. Jackson. He's a cinematic icon.
Yeah, that's true. And I just don't know. The only part in this issue that really grabbed me was the Aunt May thing, and that was just something that I've been bitching about since Brand New Day.
All right. Well, James, do you have any other points? Is there anything that you particularly liked about the issue?
I don't think it's Norman now.
The guy in the red suit at the end with Doc Connors in the cell?
I don't think it's Norman, period, with the Goblin even.
Ooh, so you're thinking that the guy with his face bandaged up claiming to be Norman Osborn isn't really Norman Osborn?
I don't think so, unless Dan Slott is retconning the whole I changed my face during Superior, but even then I said I didn't really think it's Norman. It's kind of stupid for Peter to just immediately jump to, oh my god, it's Norman! Just because the guy said he was, That's all we should get. So, here's your get out of jail free card. If you reveal that this guy with the plastic surgery, it's just somebody who's obsessed with Norman, and it's almost like what DC did with Hush, where he was a guy who was a nutso guy who was similar thing, bandaged up face, but that's because he wanted to get plastic surgery to look like Bruce Wayne. Imagine if it's revealed that this guy really created plot twist. This guy is they undo the bandages and he has Norman's face, only for the plot twist is he's not Norman. He's just some guy who was obsessed with Norman and wanted to be Osborn and found the Goblin Tech or something like that.
He's Bart Hamilton. You know this current era would do something like that. They would pull Bart Hamilton out of their asses.
Bart Hamilton's supposedly dead, but so are half the goddamn people being brought back to life. So you can only say that Bart Hamilton is one of them or something like that if you wanted to, really stretching it.
You know that this era of Spider-Man comics would not hesitate to pull something like that.
But I got another question. Would all these people being brought back to life to work for whatever this mystery guy is, do you think they're going to pull a Gwen Stacy? Where they're going to have her come back because of this, only for this all to be a ruse or something? Like maybe, I'm thinking it's Jackal now.
Oh, I was gonna say, I'll get into more of this later, but I would put money on the Jackal.
I think the guy who's the Goblin is not Norman, and the guy in Superior wasn't Norman. And I think right now, it's Jackal cloning everybody, and then one of the last ones is going to be a Gwen Stacy clone. Guarantee you. Because he's going to go after Parker Industries, and he's going to have a fucking Gwen clone walk in there. And it's going to start messing everything up. I guarantee it.
I was gonna say, I'll just segue into my thoughts here. In terms of that last page, I guarantee you, that is those two people who claim to be Martha and Billy Connors. Those are clones. The guy in the red suit, who I probably offended some people by doing a British accent there. I'm sorry, a poor British accent on my part. I'm sorry. It just sort of happened. I guarantee you that's Miles Warren. And he's putting a new Sinister Six together, and that's probably going to be some big mega arc event that's going to happen sometime in 2016.
It just fits so well. How are these people all coming back from the dead without being resurrected? It's not Otto because he's still in the living brain. I don't think it's Norman because I don't even think the Goblin's Norman right now. I think that's the red herring. I don't think it's Harry because I don't know why you would do that with Harry after just bringing him back in a really shitty way. The only guy that really leads to me the being is Miles Warren. Miles Warren, not Morales.
The only other person I thought of for this was Mr. Negative, but I'm pretty sure Mr. Negative couldn't do something like this. So
he was more kind of the opposite of that. He was more kind of I'll use your loved one's bloodline to kill you kind of thing, not bring them back from the dead.
So, yeah, it's probably not Mr. Negative, but, yeah, I'd say both of us are putting money on the Jackal at this point.
It screams Jackal to me too much for it not to be him.
All right. I'll go into some of my thoughts on this issue. Like I said, I really like this issue. My favorite part of it, once again, in contrast to James, my favorite parts were the Aunt May bits. I absolutely loved the little phone call between her and Peter at the beginning. You know, I made fun of the whole, Steve Jobs turtleneck thing. I really loved the, what they said to each other. It just shows how strong of a bond they have with each other. I've always loved the Peter-Aunt May relationship, and it's just something that I really enjoyed reading here. And plus, once again, mentioning the Uncle Ben Foundation. Absolutely something I think Peter Parker would do, and, given the circumstances that he's currently in. So I love that he's putting it to use here in this, in this impoverished nation. I absolutely love what he's doing there. The War Goblins, they're fine. I wasn't really offended by their presence. I wasn't really blown away by it. They weren't particularly striking visually. They just looked like generic thugs who happened to be wearing goblin masks, which is pretty much what they were. I wasn't really too blown away by that. Something I wasn't too fond of was the brief scene where Spider-Man was fighting the goblins in the Webjet. I don't know. The Webjet just kind of rubs me the wrong way. I really like seeing Spider-Man get more physical with his villains, hand-to-hand, using the webs, picking something up and throwing it at them, using his surroundings. I guess, being resourceful like that. That's usually what I like to see more with Spider-Man, and that wasn't really what we got during that scene. Once he, once he got out of the jet and started to face them a little bit more hand-to-hand and a little bit more head-on, that was when I started enjoying the fight scene a little bit more. That was when the comic got a little bit more interesting to me because, I usually make these jokes kind of like for the point of humor, the Tony Stark comparisons and all that. That was definitely a point where I felt like, okay, this is something Iron Man would do, using tech to do this, using these weird ass vehicles or something like that. It doesn't really fit Peter Parker, but once he got out, yeah, it definitely started to feel more like a Spider-Man comic. I really, really, really love the scene with Spider-Man and the kids. That was absolutely fantastic, in my opinion. I always love to see Spider-Man trying to interact with children. I've always said that Spider-Man is probably the most family-friendly superhero, and I think it definitely shows through this scene. I thought Slott executed this really well. Just the dialogue, the way he talks to them, the way he tries to keep them relatively calm, the way he tries to convince them, I'm here to help you. I'm not going to hurt you. Hang on. See, just a normal guy. What's your name? Jack? Sorry. I had to do that. I had to do that. So, yeah, I really love the scene with Spider-Man and the kids. I especially love the moment where he's like, Adoma, congratulations. You just became the first winner of a Parker Industries college scholarship. Absolutely love that. And once again, I like seeing the way Peter Parker uses his newfound financial success. It's what I think the character would do in this scenario. And I think that Slott has gone on record multiple times saying that this is very much a fish out of water kind of setting where you wouldn't expect Peter Parker to be in this situation, but you put the character in the situation, keep him the same, and see how he reacts to it. And I think this is what Peter Parker would do with all of this, and I think that Slott's really executing that idea really well, and I think he's taking the ball and running with it. So that's a really, really big positive in my book. Other positives, I didn't really mind the fact that Peter ditched the S.H.I.E.L.D. mission to save his Aunt May. Once again, I think that's something he'd do. And, of course, I could always see him justifying that as S.H.I.E.L.D. has plenty of agents all around the globe. Aunt May only has him. I understand that. I understand the threat that he knows that the goblins are. I understand that. And once again, I like the scene at the end with Peter and Aunt May where he says, the way Peter tells it, May, you're not his aunt, you raised him, you're his mom, and I know if he had to, he'd stop the whole world for you. I enjoyed that bit of interaction right there. That was very, very good. Some other things I enjoyed in this book, once again, Giuseppe Camuncoli, Cam Smith, and Marte Garcia all do a fantastic job, do fantastic jobs with their work. On the visual aspect of this comic, the artwork is absolutely gorgeous. On each page. I thought it was very, very strong. Other aspects of this book that I feel are worth talking about, the Katy Perry ringtone kind of made me roll my eyes a little bit, and I'm a Katy Perry fan, but yeah, it was just like, really? I guess it was more of the succeeding line of, did you just put Nick Fury on hold? That was just like, okay, kind of roll my eyes at that a little bit, but that didn't really bother me that much. Overall, I really enjoyed this issue. I thought it was a really strong issue. I thought it was a very solid comic book. I thought it was a very good story, and I understand some of the complaints that James has. I respect his contrasting opinion to my own, but overall, I think we can agree to disagree on this one. He didn't like this issue as much, but I definitely liked it a lot more than he did. So I give this issue a thumbs up if we're going by thumb rating. Letter grade rating, probably a B+, A- in that range. Thought it was a very good comic. So, James, any final thoughts on Amazing Spider-Man Volume 4, Number 4?
Meh.
James is just like, yeah, it's a comic. It exists. I don't really care.
Yeah, it says Amazing Spider-Man on it. Peter Parker's in it. Yay.
Yay.
Like I said, it felt really lukewarm to me. It felt kind of like watered down, like it just didn't sit right with me. I don't know why. Which is really sad to say because I'm a huge fan of Goblin.
All right. But I guess that's going to do it for this review. We do have another issue of Amazing Spider-Man coming out next week. Amazing Spider-Man number 1.1. It's the start of kind of, I guess, a mini series written by written by a guy who's previously worked on the Agent Carter TV series for Marvel. And it's also going to feature Spidey in the Centurions, I think. They're going to be battling the undead, so that's what we have to look forward to for next week. Other than that, there's not really much. What's that, James?
To the goddamn point one issues. I said this before. If you want to do this, just do a new satellite title. Seriously.
Yeah, but James, satellite titles don't sell as well as if you put Amazing Spider-Man on the cover. So, I mean, I could see that. First and foremost, Marvel is a business, so I can kind of see that method.
Yeah, but you can also say the same point to Amazing Spider-Man stuff that's not the main Amazing Spider-Man title. None of those Amazing Spider-Man stuff really stuck that they introduced in their brand name when they added this whole every satellite and every miniseries and every Spider-Man one-shot is going to have Amazing in the title now. And then a lot of them don't stick also. So you can't say it's because the Amazing's not on the title, I don't think.
I don't know. It's an argument. Maybe you can question its validity. I don't know. I'm not a Marvel salesperson. I don't really know how that stuff works. So anyway, we got that to look forward to for next week. I don't really think there's anything else to discuss. I guess Tom Holland's been talking a little bit, but he's said really nothing of substance. So there's not really much to talk about.
Did he talk about the movie?
He's talking about how. No, evidently he was talking about how how Ultimate Spider-Man is his favorite comic, and that he's gonna be influenced by the performances of Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield and all that stuff. It's not really like anything newsworthy to talk about. So
that any actor would say in that situation.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much how you can describe it.
That movie doesn't really. There's not really much rumors like you could say. Like there's that one rumor that the solo film is going to be Norman somehow financing for the Bugle Scorpion, but that's about it, and there's not really anything to stand on except for somebody spreading that rumor.
There's a rumor that Steve Rogers and Tony Stark are going to be in the movie because I think people took a comment that Robert Downey Jr. said way out of context. Who knows? James. Oh, I think James froze. That's unfortunate. So I guess we really are done. So that's going to conclude this little review of Amazing Spider-Man Volume 4, Number 4 here, and it's pretty much also going to conclude this week's episode of the podcast. I'm hoping James and Frieda is here very quickly so we can do shout-outs, but I'll go ahead with my shout-outs for the week, and James can close this week. Shout-outs, Marvel, Stan Lee, Steve Ditko, Dan Slotch, Seb Camicoli, Nick Lowe, all of them. Thank you for Spider-Man. Thank you for the comic we reviewed this week. Even if some of us didn't like it, I personally enjoyed it. James didn't. I think we can all agree that it's probably better than nothing. I'm personally just thankful that the character exists. So I'm all for this. So even if it's a status quo that may take a bit of getting used to, I've generally enjoyed this new volume so far. So I don't really have many negative things to say on it. I think I'm pretty positive towards it. Other shout out this week. Well, I started watching Daredevil, and I said at the beginning of the show, or at least I don't remember if I said that on the air or not. But yeah, I'm 2 episodes in, and that is some weird stuff that happens on that show. Just it's. I don't know if it's for me. I'm 2 episodes in. I haven't gotten any further yet because I guess who forgot to pay his Netflix bill? This guy right here. So I'm gonna have to do that before I continue watching. But yeah, I'm gonna have to. It's an interesting little show, that Daredevil. It's an interesting thing. I know I'm like the last person on earth to see it, but yeah. Other shout out this week, I read Secret Wars number 8 by Jonathan Hickman and Yusad Rabiq. I enjoyed that. It was kind of a filler issue, it almost felt like, but yeah. So I enjoyed that this week. I read Spider-Gwen number 3 this week by Jason Latour and Robbie Rodriguez. So I read that this week. What else? Continuing to watch. Yes, James. Hello, you're back. I'm continuing to watch Supergirl. I'm still enjoying that. I'm watching The Big Bang Theory. I'm still enjoying that. Um, Shout out to all the college kids this coming week who have to take finals this coming week. I have a few friends who aren't done with finals yet, so yeah. Shout out to all of you, and I don't know. Let's see. What else should I shout out to? Shout out to Pure Aqua Spring Water because that's what I've been drinking on this podcast. All right, James. Any shout outs or final words for the listeners before we sign off? Gosh damn it! Did he freeze again? I think he froze again. This is really awkward. This is so awkward right now. I guess I'm not sure. Should we wait for James to come back or should we not? Oh, I think this could be him right now. Let's look right now. Hi,
Hello?
James. Hi, James.
I've been saying hello for like 10 minutes and you haven't been able to hear me, I don't think.
No, not really. Okay,
Uh,
James. Any shout outs or final words for the listeners before we sign off?
Shout out to Star Wars coming out. Got my tickets for opening night the 17th. Going to go see it. Awesome, badass. That's about it.
No shout out to Dino Charge. Didn't that have its season finale today?
Yeah, I'm trying to charge at a season finale, but it's already over with, so I can't really give a shout out to something that just literally is over with. I don't think. I think I want to focus on something that's going to come out this week, which is Star Wars. Good final episode. I will say that.
Yeah, I haven't really been keeping up with Power Rangers Dino Charge. It's not really my cup of tea, even though James tells me that I'm wrong for saying that.
No,
All right.
the board who you wrote on that Fred say you're wrong for that.
Yes, and then they went into bashing about how like something about Lightspeed Rescue, and then they went into Super Mega Force bashing because
That's Ranger Board in a nutshell.
Yep.
You're just lucky it didn't turn into a shipping war between which characters should be shipped with each other, because that seems to always be where everything goes from. Ironic enough, when it deals with will a dead actress's or actor's character reappear and be recast somehow turns into gay shipping or whatever. So, not that there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying those weird threads could turn an even weirder topic. Let's just say that.
All right. Well, on that note, I guess we're going to end the podcast for this week. So we thank you all for tuning in, and hope to see you next week. So take care. Have a good week, and we'll see you next time.